How about we switch things up today? You know, not every video needs to be a college essay. I'd bet my bottom dollar that anyone that has a music-based online presence has a vinyl record collection, and I'm no different. No better than these animals. If you've been following the channel, you've seen my vinyl record collection slowly grow over the years, with my original vinyl collection video and all the vinyl updates I've made. But a question I get asked more than you'd think when it comes to my record collection is how much you sitting on. It might sound like someone's attempt to wine and dine me, but it's just people wanting to know about my most expensive records. So that is this video. 5-ish of the most expensive records in my collection. Pretty cool title card, huh? And I thought, you know, why not? I just released a heavily edited and scripted video, and I'm working on another heavily edited and scripted video, so this video is going to be nestled nicely right between the two. For those of you who might not know, I recently rearranged my recording area, and my vinyl records are now over there. And biggest of all, I got a monitor so I could see myself when I record. I actually put up a video on my Patreon recently about me touring the new studio space, quote-unquote studio space, and giving like almost a mini gear review. So if you feel compelled to check it out, get all the other cool bonus stuff, and support the channel, that'd be very much appreciated. But enough of that. So, I got about 5-ish records here that have gone up drastically in price since I originally purchased them. Little disclaimer, I don't intend on selling them at the moment, and for some of these ever. And I got more than just 5 records that fit this criteria, so if you're interested, maybe there'll be another installation of this video in the future. Who knows? Who could say? Let me know what your most expensive records are in the comments section below. I'd be curious to see if anyone's actually sitting on some heat, unlike me that has like a couple $100 to his name. Another disclaimer, I got all these prices from Discogs. So these prices are not etched in stone, you know, I honestly probably did a few wrong, but it's for a general ballpark. And lower your expectations, because I'm not sitting on any mega huge bucks here, like nothing's paying off my student loan debt. Just a few extra bucks compared to what I bought them for. Alrighty, with that all out of the way, and me officially out of script, let's jump into it. JPEGMAFIA. All my heroes are cornballs. That's just what this world needs, another video of me crying about how good JPEGMAFIA is. But it makes sense it being here because this vinyl has actually gone up a little bit since I purchased it. One of my favorite JPEGMAFIA albums that I was really hyped for, and honestly one of them that I think the alternative cover is better than the original. I remember picking this up when the album was announced because I kind of missed the hype train for Veteran, so this kind of felt like my first foray into a full JPEGMAFIA release cycle, you know? But you know, nothing really crazy here, just some plain black vinyl, double LP by the way. Even though JPEGMAFIA has come out with some really quality stuff, this is probably my favorite record of his. I remember going to see him on tour when this album came out, and I actually recently went to go see him on the Scaring the Host tour, which, not to plug the Patreon again, I made a cute little video, like a music video of me going in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, so if you want to go check that out on Patreon, it's a cute little thing, I don't know, I thought it was cool. But anyway, time for the moment of truth. This bad boy I picked up here, I got it for probably $30-ish, considering it's a double LP, don't know off the top of my head, but now according to Discogs, this thing's going for a sweet $70. Not too shabby. Big fan of the alternative cover and just pretty good music. I don't know if you saw on the back, but it even has the little emoji there. That's how you know it's a real JPEGMAFIA authentic release. And if any eagle-eyed vinyl update viewers out there saw me with a Veteran vinyl, it is fake. It's a bootleg, which I'm not getting into right now. And that's why they don't appear on this list, because they are not real. But with that being said, love this album, love JPEGMAFIA, great artist. That's why I bring him up constantly on the channel, even though I really don't have any reason to, but I usually find a way to sneak him in for a great sample or two. And going for almost double what I paid for it, hey, it's a pretty good pickup for me. Oh, I'm sure you guys are going to be seething with jealousy at the end of this. Oof, you guys don't even know. Wait till I get to the deep ones. Next one, an artist that is yet to appear on the channel in any form whatsoever. Some of you out there are like, Jake, what is this monstrosity? What is this oddity? What is this bizarre creation? Well, it's Jim James' album, Eternally Even. And I've kind of been beating this dead horse with the story that I usually bring up with this, but essentially I went to a local record store that I was trying to go to more frequently when I first got into really collecting vinyl, and the employee there was trying to become friends with me, and I was, you know, thought it was pretty cool. He's an older guy, he's got more music, like, hey, being a regular at a record store, that's kind of a cool thing, you know? So one day I was walking around, and he played a different Jim James album. You ready? I'll get it. He was playing this album, actually, Jim James' Uniform Distortion, and kind of spoiled the story picking it up, but essentially he's like, oh, you'd like this, you should buy it. And me being a broke kid, I was like, ooh, this is a big purchase, but ooh, I really hope this record store employee likes me. Maybe he'll give me a discount or something. Plus the album cover's kind of cool. So I bought it, and long story short, this hasn't got a lot of plays for me. However, I became intrigued when I saw the album cover for his 2016 release, Eternally Even. And I was like, alright, I'll check this out. And the entire time I was like, why didn't he play this for me? It's just so much better. The first track, Hide in Plain Sight, is an absolute incredible psych rock track that just oozes with personality and stuff. I love the artwork. It's so abstract and minimal. I'm sure I could show that, right? And you know it's big shit when I picked this up, because not only is it any Jim James Eternally Even album, as a matter of fact, this is our first of more to come in this video of specialty pressings, the gold version. Look at that. Beautiful solid gold pressing. In my monitor here, it looks more orange than gold, but I assure you, it's kind of see-through gold. So when doing research for this video, I kind of glossed over this. I was like, oh, well, I mean, Jim James, like I know My Morning Jacket, but I wouldn't say he's really sought after. I don't think his music is going to be going for that high on Discogs or anything like that. Would you imagine to my surprise when I found that the specific version I have, the specific variant, goes for actual kind of a little bit of money here. According to my calculations, this copy of Jim James Eternally Even goes for a good $80. Not too shabby, considering it's a single LP, bit of a jacket at probably like $25, or almost rounding up on 3 times the price I bought this for. Like that's kind of cool, considering I just literally passed this up the first time I was going through my records. A really cool psych rock album. I know we really don't talk about much rock music here, mostly electronic and fucking industrial, but hey, it's pretty cool psych rock. Hide in Plain Sight's a really good song. If you take nothing else from this video, you want some good psych rock, you know, fuck Lil Yachty, check out Hide in Plain Sight by Jim James, and that's the second bottom expensive record in my collection. Didn't really know where that sentence was going. Anyway, next. We're about halfway through-ish, and this is the last of the installment of people I have not yet talked about on the channel. I'm sure I've mentioned them like maybe in passing or like on one of my podcasts, but this might confuse some people and leave them like kind of scratching their heads like, oh, I didn't know Jake fucked with this individual, but I don't think you'd be too surprised. Joji in tongues. Yeah, I was a little Joji head. I was a filthy Frank enjoyer, iDubbbz guy. What can I say? I remember distinctly where I was when I picked this up. I was in my probably 9th or 10th grade. I'd have to do the math and figure out when, but I was in a math class on my phone refreshing. I'm like, ooh, I want to get Filthy Frank's album. Not a huge fan of the album cover, the album packaging. A little too, like, weirdly hentai-ish for me with all the squid arms and the, like, kind of derpy face of him drowning. Like, I mean, it's not too shabby, but I mean, it wouldn't be my debut album cover, you know. Normal black sleeve, nothing too crazy, and I'm sure I gave it away a little bit when I showed everyone that, but it's rare once again because of the variant I got. Booyah. I believe it's Spider Venom Purple is what we're rocking with right now. And it's been a little while since I've listened to this album or project or EP, you know, whatever you call it. But after getting ready for this video, going back and listening to it, you know, Will He, Demons, Bitter Fuck, like, some pretty good tracks on here. Nothing compared to the monolith that Joji would become, but, you know, for a YouTuber turned musician, and even me in my young age, I was like, yeah, he's definitely got something here. So I see where Joji has evolved to the point where he has. And this video is evolving to the point where we are, because I remember picking this up for single LP, probably low 20s-ish. And according to Discogs, this thing is sitting at a pretty $100. Booyah, baby, double digits. I've never really found a way to mention this on the channel, so I guess this is a fun little first foray into the world of Joji. But there's going to be more in that vein of artists as we go on here. But yeah, shout out to Joji, and shout out to one of the first big kind of rare albums that I owned in my life. Because I remember this is like one of my first like 15 or 20 records I bought, and that's pretty good for a record collector, already busting out in the high hundreds nowadays. So shout out to Joji. For this next one, I'm probably going to be cheating a little bit. I mean, hey, you were looking at it in the thumbnail, so you already know what's coming. Injury Reserve. By the time I get to Phoenix, ooh, I hardly talk about these guys on the channel ever. I only make multiple videos about them, talk about their sampling technique, and talk about how they've changed my life and how you can deal with death listening to this album. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. It's a fantastic album, and I'm really happy that I finally, after a long wait, I got my hands on a copy. Injury Reserve now by storm. Put these out in 2021 when the album came out, and the waiting process, if you were on the wait list to get your By the Time I Get to Phoenix vinyl when the first crop was dropping, oh boy, I think I did the math. I put it on an Instagram story. If I remember to put it up here, I'll put it up here. It's 500 some days of waiting since I purchased it to when I actually held it in my hands. And how nice is it to feel finally in my hands? Look at that. Ooh, you got the crazy Nat Geo Wild commercial. Did you know that the album cover is literally like a screenshot from Nat Geo Wild? That shit was crazy. Someone sent that to me on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, fuck, dude. I literally lost my mind. Single LP, nothing too crazy. A nice polyline sleeve, too. That's pretty good. People should take note. Now, if you've been paying attention to the gradual price increase in this video and you're an avid Discogs head, you'd see, well, Jake, an open copy of the red variant of By the Time I Get to Phoenix is only about $85 maybe on a good day. So why is this after Joji, an album that was like $100? Well, because I was kind of being a little cheeky, this isn't the official next entry. This is. Yeah. 2 copies of By the Time I Get to Phoenix. It's a real glass, Cry Me a River. Yes, I own the red variant, and I also own a sealed copy of the smoke gray clear variant. I remember when they first announced the album on black vinyl, I was a little broke at the time, so I couldn't really enjoy it, so I was hoping like, oh man, maybe in the future they'll bust something out. And then later they would release the smoke gray variant, and I was like, sweet. Picked it up, got it. I'm like, yes, I own a copy, secured. And then a couple days later, they released the red version. I'm like, well, I want the red version because I think it looked cooler. So I bought the red version. And believe it or not, the smoke gray one came much earlier than the second one. So the 500 some days that I was mentioning is kind of a bit of a stretch because this was technically here before the red variant, but I didn't want to open this one, so I couldn't really listen to it. In the original shrink wrap, double bagged. So according to Discogs, officially a sealed copy of the smoke gray variant goes for about $115. Not too shabby, right? It's kind of nice to own 2. I really don't plan on selling this one in my lifetime at least. But maybe in the distant future, my great grandkids can see this copy and say, wow, man, my grandpa being a loser really paid off. Alrighty, enough honorable mentions. Let's get to something that's actually worth some big bucks now. We're here, the final record, the most expensive record in my collection. And once again, I love talking about them. I seem to always find a way, but the YouTube algorithm is not like it as much when I talk about them. Brockhampton Ginger. I am a Brockhampton head, man. Made a few videos about Brockhampton. Back in the day when I did the album cover tutorials, that was pretty much exclusively what I talked about, or were my most popular videos anyway. So, would you believe it or not that ever since an official Brockhampton album was released on vinyl, I've purchased it. But yeah, this is officially my most expensive record in my collection. A gatefold double LP with some of that cool vintage photography and boys having fun. Kind of shitty looking back on it now, considering how everything ended. I remember picking up this album when it was announced. I was in my dorm room freshman year of college. That's when this album came out. And it was in a, you know, emotionally Play-Doh-y time for me. Like, this kind of music was there for me. I remember specifically walking around campus and listening to this album and kind of just taking it all in that I'm going on my next step of life. And now, you know, joke's on me, I graduated and we're right back here. And I know there have been bootlegs of this album getting kicked around, but this one I hold specifically is the red variant. Ooh, I wonder if my color grade's gonna do this. That's probably gonna fucking fry my computer. Check it out. The second official Brockhampton release on vinyl record. Kind of cool if you ask me. I didn't even realize that all the people that bought the record's names are printed in there. I think that's a so cool idea. Yeah, I hear ya. Jake, stop blue balling us. How much is it? Well, considering I purchased this for, I'd say since it was Brockhampton double LP, I could probably say like 45 bucks, maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, an open copy of Brockhampton's Ginger going on Discogs right now for $185. Great googly moogly. Yeah, this record and kind of Brockhampton as a whole, like I mentioned previously, it was in my formative years when I listened to this group, and you know, that alternative hip hop really did something to me. And this album is something I'd call very good. One of my favorite Brockhampton albums. I'd probably say second or third. I actually did another video on my Patreon, hate to keep plugging it, of my ranked Brockhampton albums, despite not including The Family and TM, but if you like Brockhampton and are at all curious, go check that video out. But ladies and gentlemen, sitting at a whopping $185, this is officially one of my most expensive records in my collection. ladies and gentlemen, that's a video. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for the positive reception on the last video. It really meant a lot to me that a video that's very conceptually adventurous is doing as well as it is. It's really given me that confidence to really, it just makes me feel good, you know? I feel like I'm doing something right. So hopefully this quells your hunger until the next main channel video is uploaded. This one's actually going to take a little bit of time, you know, heavily edited, heavily scripted and researched, and I actually have to go to a live show, so that will be the only thing I'm going to say about that. So get hyped for that. I'm really excited. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully you learned a little something about me and my expensive record collection. Like I said, nothing too crazy. It's not a, you know, pay off any loan money. It's just, you know, maybe eat a burger or 2 or 3. Yeah, I don't know if it's obvious, but since I've been doing these crazy hyper-edited videos, I don't really know how to end these, like, kind of more chill talking head videos, so hard cut.